up, guys? All right. All right, shop update, shop update, shop update. Crazy. I was gonna try to do a structured video, but I don't think we're gonna do that because things are just too up in the air. We have too many cars going on and too many things going on. So we're just gonna quickly run you through sort of what we're working on right now. We got Wes's RX-7 right here. We're going to update the fuel system to full radium deal, dual pumps, 8 AN feed. The car is drastically out of fuel with the half bridge in it. So we've been trying to manage that. The minimum boost that we can run is actually exceeding the fuel supply, so that got a little sketchy on the dyno. So we're gonna rectify that. We also had some issues trying to keep the car cool, so we're gonna rectify that and figure out what's going on there. Since the addition of the half bridge motor, there's way more heat. When it was a street port car, this was never an issue, but now we're having a hard time even keeping it cool at idle. So we're gonna see if maybe the V-mount kit is airlocked, try to bleed that out and see if we can't get things to flow. There's a chance that the thermostat could have failed closed, so we're gonna look at that as well. But right now, Danny's getting set up to do the, oh, there he goes, safety lights. He's getting set up with high vis so that he can get underneath the car and get it prepped and opened up so that we can do the fuel pump setup, wiring, relay setup, the whole shebang. That's one of the things. Then we're also working on the endurance car CRZ. So we've got a K24 going in the car now. K20 came out of the car. We just wanted a little bit more torque and we wanted to be able to keep up with the pack sort of, but at a lower RPM. So the biggest thing with endurance racing is both fuel economy and just time on the motor, okay? And failure mode on basically any motor is lots and lots of time spent at high RPM is going to cause failures, specifically on the big ends of the rods, oiling, rod bolts, etc. There's more chances for damage. You're shifting a ton of times per lap, a ton of times per day. These are 9-hour races. The chance to mess up and misshift the car is huge. So we want to keep the duty cycle very low, keep the revs very low, but we need torque to get out of the corner and to be able to compete with some of the bigger motor cars. So we made the decision to switch up to a K24 from a K20. This is basically a stock top to bottom K24 RBB3, so that's the latest model K24 with a 4-port head, but it has 1 millimeter larger valves and things like that. The trans got a transmission service, just opened it up, inspected bearings, synchros, that sort of stuff. Did check the, this car has a 1.5-way plate type diff in it as well, so we checked that and serviced that, put it back together with a new outer case actually to switch it to an 8th gen style case from like a 0506, which is like an older RSX style case, just because of the way that certain things mounted and the way that we had to do the shift gear selector in this car with this shifter box to make it all work. So yeah. Just getting that dressed back up. It's got a Unit 2 baffled oil pan on it and stuff now as well. New RBC manifold because we went to a K24 style head, similar to like a Z3 or an A2 style. Intake manifold flange from a Z1 RSX K20 setup. So just, it was easier to get a fresh manifold instead of doing the whole adaptation thing on the other side. So that's going in. The cage has been painted and prepped. Tyler went through and got the car prepped up, got the chassis prepped up, and then Danny got it taped up and painted real quick so we can get the car back together. The original goal for this car was to try to bring it to Gridlife, but since talking to Ray and his team, he's gonna be out of the country for basically the entire month of August, so we've pushed the Gridlife deadline off on that, but we still have to do a fuel cell, we still have to do our safety, data analytics, external sensors. We may want to change up the exhaust a little bit. I personally don't want to because it's got a center exit exhaust from HPD and that's very cool, but we'll see. The concern is that it might not pass sound, which, hoo-ha. Anyway, so then that's going to go back together. We've got the interior going back together. The Lexan windows from plastics The windows from Plastics for Performance in the United Kingdom, those have to go in. Our fuel filler neck and stuff needs to go in as well. So there's still quite a bit of fab work that needs to happen. E46 BMW race car, my favorite. This car is from Finland. Some guys that run endurance in the US bought this car out of Finland. It actually was a pretty well-prepped car, had a stroker motor in it before. It's on an old Motec Gold Box M400. So the car originally came in for some tuning, and it was incontinent and leaking fluids all over the floor. I did end up getting it tuned, and it made decent power. Yeah, cool center wiper, DTM, et cetera, et cetera. Strut towers are braced into the cage. That's pretty cool. Good motorsport wiring harness on this car as well. So the original stroker motor got done blowed up, and they wanted something that was a little bit less high strung. This is also an endurance race car. So running it on race gas for 9-hour races is very expensive. So they wanted something that could be run on 93 octane pump gas. They ended up putting a used S54 motor in the car. They had some cat cams, some regrinds and things like that they swapped over. During that swap-a-rooski, the front cover was reused from the wrong motor, and it was too short because it was from a motor that was milled. So it was like 6th thou or 7th thou too short. It was leaking out of the bottom of the head gasket on the front cover area. So just the easiest course of action was to just pull the motor out, open it up, get the proper height timing cover, get it all serviced up. I'm glad we did. We found some other stuff in there as well. Then Danny is gonna get this motor buttoned back up. We'll get it back in the car, systems check, put the arrow on the front, get the whole front end back together, and it's out of here. Let's go. Eric's car, back under the knife. The never-ending project, the love-hate. Switching up the turbo, going with something smaller. Smaller. He says it's too laggy, whatever. So we're doing a 63AR hot side something or other on this car now. Downpipe's getting redone. We're doing some things with the brakes. There's some service parts going on. We did have some arm failures at Gridlife last year, so we have since put the Agile Performance arms in it from New Zealand or something like that. They didn't fit very well right away, but we used a hammer and now they fit. So those are on there. Tyler went through, got the whole thing cleaned up. This thing basically was covered in race rubber and debris from last year. So we've got that cleaned up as well. Evan's just been going through, replumbing the new turbo setup. The timing belt jumped teeth last time when he rolled backwards. Coming out of Big Bend before the left-hander, suspension went down, car spun and backed into the grass.
And the embers,
but I don't, Thompson's off.
I think he's got a flat tire or something.
Oh no, something let go in that suspension.
Oh yeah, it's broken. And you see the frustration there. That broken left front, but
really unfortunate to see it end this way for Thompson though.
Yeah, and I don't know how easy it is for him to fix, but our next race isn't that long away from now, so you have to hope that he's got some replacement parts.
And he didn't have enough time to get to the clutch. This car is you can't just put it into neutral, let's put it that way. So unless you clutch in quickly enough, it does ratchet back. And because of the oil pump situation that we're running with a Gen 4 block and the timing belt length and blah, 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 basically there's a little bit of extra slack in the belt because the tensioner can't come far enough forward in order to hold good, solid tension all the time. It's fine in normal running conditions if it's running forward, but if it does get spun backwards, there is a chance over time, now this timing belt is probably 2.5 years old or so at this point, that it's loose enough that it will skip teeth in reverse. So it has since been put back in time. We're gonna change to either a Gen 2 3S timing tensioner, which is very hard to get in there, but now that I've got some help and some pry bars and stuff, we could probably get it in there, no problem. Going to an actual strain gauge knob on the shifter. Before it was like a momentary switch version from SQS and it just did not work well. We didn't end up using it. So now we'll have proper ignition cut. I think other than that, we took some damage over on the wide body on this side last year. I can't remember if this was because I think it's because the ball joint separated and the wheel took this out. Somebody gave us a love tap kiss on the other side as well. There's some donuts on the door. I don't remember exactly who it was. We're coming for you. But yeah, it's basically cosmetic and fine. This is cosmetic and fine. Unfortunately, we're just running out of time, so we're probably not gonna be able to put like a super cool livery. Eric also doesn't like super cool liveries. He likes like simple ones, which are actually sometimes harder to do. You know, quick whatever repair to the fender just to get it operational. Going through, checking hubs, ball joints, nuts, making sure that the spares package is sorted out, and then this car is back together and to Gridlife. Jeff's Lotus, if you didn't see the video on this, I think it was the last video we posted, go back and check it out. It's got all the updates and everything. Basically, we just need to finish up the exhaust. There were some scheduling conflicts and things like that to get the exhaust fabbed up, but once the exhaust is fabbed, car's onto the dyno and we can start tuning and calibrating. So we haven't really talked about this one. This is a Noble M12 something. Yeah, it's a Noble M12 3 GTO R3R GTO.
What?
Super into them. So this is a K20 turbo. This car was originally built by another shop years ago, and then the previous owner then put a motor in it, I think rod piston, and just forgot to seal everything. So that needs to be addressed eventually. The motor has to come out and get resealed and everything like that. Right now, it's basically a proof of concept. We've changed the wiring strategy a bit, took out the Honda K Pro, put in a Haltech Elite 1500. The battery and power cable situation has been changed as well. The e-brake cables were just grinding into the power cable in the tunnel. So all that has been changed and rectified. Basically, the goal of this is get it propped up on Haltech, get it running good, reliable, consistently, and then once that's all figured out on the dyno, pull the motor out, seal it up. Basically, I'll just be dynoing it with a diaper on. It'll be wearing a diaper, not me. Chuck's GTR waiting on bay paint. Yeah, basically, we got like a few hours. We need to strip this bay down and get ready for Peter to take and paint. He's currently painting my IS 300 bay, so I don't want to pressure him with two cars. Basically, when that comes back, we'll just do an exchange. This will go for paint. All the motor stuff is here that needs to be assembled. We got oil pans from Stewie Leask, all nicey nice. We vapor honed those up before we sent them out, so now they're looking all super fancy and proper. We'll put that together. We have the wiring harness for this. We have the turbos for this. We have the manifolds for this. There's a lot of things that can happen leading up to that. It's just getting it into the schedule. Aaron's GTR is essentially ready for tuning. Unfortunately, after tuning, everything has to come back apart. The car has to be stripped back down, quarter panels cut back off of it. The previous body shop that did all the stuff, they hacked it up really bad. So I've been looking for another body shop to fix all of the issues, and unfortunately, it's just gonna be a humongous project. Unfortunately, tremendous cost to Aaron, and it's really unfortunate. It was caught pretty late, but there are areas not welded, not seam sealed, sections of rust that should have been cut out and repaired. It didn't need to be super pretty show car. It just needed to work and seam seal it and put, you know, Raptor liner in the wheel arches, but yeah. So unfortunately that wasn't done. So that's 25 grand down the tubes, and we gotta find another place and get that done. But as far as the engine bay, like everything's together, it's ready for tuning and calibrating. And then once we know we have a set system, then we'll break it back down and it'll go back to paint. Then we have Victor's 280Z Turbo. It's a beautiful car. This car is here actually just for tuning and calibrating, as well as ITB balancing and some other things, just to make it a nice finished street car. Absolutely gorgeous car, straight as an arrow, beautiful bodywork, beautiful work under the hood as well. This is a custom ITB fuel injected setup on a, I believe L26 or L28 turbo. It's got a GTX 30R in there. Currently the car is on Fuel Tech, which I'm not a terribly huge fan of, but we're gonna make it work since he's already hooked up that way and already purchased it. Get everything balanced in and hopefully make some decent, reliable power. Pace Car Supra. We're back. So, took off the 30R, put a 3582 on this, changed the cooling fan setup, rerouted the coolant a little bit. We just wanted to make more power on pump gas. Ethanol is still coming, but basically this car will be at Gridlife in August. I'm hoping to drive this thing, shake it down, sort of like I did last year, but like a better shakedown with more power. That's about it. Little S2000 quick cut montage. Jason's S2000, here for a motor. Peter's old stock motor for Jason's car. Spoon engine out of Peter's old car. Peter's old car. Peter's new car. Jason's old motor. Kevin's monstrosity. Ray's car for posterity. Not an S2000. Another one. Another one. So this is my wife's new IS300 drift car. She had a Z3. It was great, it was fun. It's very small. It's very hard to fit seats in. They don't make cool body kits for them. She's finally understanding the allure of like the cool, fun JDM body styling and all that stuff. And she realized very quickly that Z3 ain't it. So IS300, she wanted a JZX 100. She wanted a JZX 100, that's not happening. Not until I've hit the Mega Millions or LZ has me on retainer, but she wanted something similar. This has a very similar chassis underneath. Comes factory 2J platform. I have more spares and things and cars and all kinds of stuff. So IS300 made sense, good looking car, 2J, very good. Convert the car to manual. It is an automatic car. It does have tan interior, but I was just talking about you. I'm on film. Film, like the old days. We're making a video talking about your car.
My car?
It's just
Which
a,
one?
Which one? What a fucking bougie ass.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time, car.
What was I talking about? Right, this car, tan interior, we're gonna switch it to a black interior. The tentative plan for now is actually to pull this motor out, put it to the side, put a 1J VVTi in here, made it to an R154. Basically make this car a Tourer V, if they ever made that, which they didn't, but you know what I mean. So get this thing prepped up, ready so that it's just a simple low power slide car, and then eventually probably build the 2J on the side when she needs or wants more power, but we should be good to 350, 400 wheel on a stock 1J. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
We interrupt our program.
And just like that, during the filming of just the past 25-minute whatever, now there is coolant coming out of the bell housing on the fresh motor. And when it comes out of the bell housing on these cars, it's usually coming out of the studs or something else. So now everything is going to come apart. So this is pretty much par for the course. You know, things just constantly need more things, and overlap is crazy and timelines are crazy and just everything is crazy and cars are broken all the time and it's great. So on that note, that's been a shop update. We're going to get back to work. Bye-bye.